and welcome back to Design Basics. I've had a lot of questions on how to do these little labels. I had noted when I posted these how to change the size using a larger size punch to narrow it down. This one uses the decorative label punch, and so does this one and this one. But you can also do it with different punches. I thought I would show you a video on how to do that. That's probably easier than trying to take pictures and then give you instructions. This is the decorative label punch, the modern label punch, and the word window punch. I'm sure you could do it with others, but these are just three that I thought would be easy to show you real quick. I'm going to start with the word window punch. It's probably the easiest one. You just go ahead and put your image in where you want it and line it up on one end. Okay, and go ahead and punch. And see how we have this gap on the end that we want to take that down and make it smaller. All you're going to do is take your image, put it back in there. To jiggle it a little bit. I do find if you put it in the center and slide it, if you're having trouble, that makes it a little bit easier. Make sure you line it up. Better hold on this. Make sure you line it up right where you want it. Make sure it's straight. Otherwise, you'll end up with a gap. I don't know if you noticed that I had a little gap right there. Just make sure it's straight. And then punch again. And there you have it. And then there's the piece that's left over. Okay? That one's probably the easiest one. So now let's try the decorative label punch. Oh, I'm sorry, modern label punch. I'm gonna stamp it, punch out this happy birthday. Now this one's a little bit more tricky with the paper in here, and you'll see. Notice how it slopes in toward the middle a little bit. You won't be able to make this one super small because what will happen is that slope when you go to repunch it will show up and you'll get a sharp edge. So let's see if I can just make it a little bit smaller. And punch my image where I want it and put this piece back in. Can you tell how it slopes in toward the center and then comes back out? It's really going to be evident when we put this back in here. See that gap at the top? And if you notice, this punch needs to round it, but it won't because that paper's not wide enough. So we'll have to pull it back out to the point where it still keeps it rounded. Okay, so let's do the decorative label punch now. Now this one you can go either direction. You can have it like this one, where it's the small side, or it's long, just depending on the size of your greeting. Okay, so this one, we're going to turn the punch sideways. I'm going to get my, let me pull this over so you can see, get my enjoy centered where I want it to be. And then go ahead and punch that. And now I'm going to put this back in. You can go on either end. That should be the same. This one's a little bit trickier to squeeze in there because it has all those edges. Just keep fiddling with it, you'll get it. Now here's the tricky part. You have to hold it, but what I also want you to notice is these edges on either side. See if you can you tell that, I'll lay flat since it's not locked in place. If I were to come over this way, I'm going to have this round edge here and a flat edge there, because it's only going to punch what's underneath there. So keep that in mind. You want it to be, if you want it to be even. You also want this, see there's a little bit of a gap right there, so I have to move that back. It's just going to be playing around with it a little bit to get it right where you want. You also want the distance from this point to that one to be as close to the same as you can. Make sure it's straight. And then just go ahead and punch. And there you have a little one. If you get any little frayed pieces, you can either cut those off or a sanding block works great. Okay? So that's like that one. And again, you could make it a little bit wider if you need to, just based on your words. And then let me show you one more. Plenty of space to work. I just re-stamped this on a bigger piece so I'd have more of a handle. This one This stinks so much, but it's the same, about the same size. Okay, so get it in there exactly where you want it. Looks pretty good. And again, I'm just going to squeeze this back in here. Again, this one's longer. Don't worry about it being straight till you get it. There you go. To get back in there. Okay, remember what I said before about you don't want to cut off the tips, and you don't want one side to be wider than the other. So you just have to play with it till you get it so there's no gap on either side, and until that edge, that little round edge, is about the same. And then punch. And there you have it. That one's even more narrow than this one, so you can make them, you know, as wide or as narrow as you like. So there's the decorative label punch from the end, from the top, and then the word window punch. And there you have it. So it's pretty simple. Hope you guys will give it a try, and I'll see you next time for more design basics.